Hi all, my name is Parag Sagdeo. I'm working as a service owner in digital platforms at First Abu Dhabi Bank. One of the platforms that we own is Identity Provider Platform, which is backed by Gravity's access management solution. As an IDP platform, we support various integration scenarios such as C2B, B2B, and staff. Today, I am going to present a unique solution that we have designed and implemented in First Abu Dhabi Bank using CIBA. First of all, we will see what was the ask here, why we had even thought of an option to have CIBA in our authentication flow. The ask from the business was to enhance the user experience of internet banking access through browser. They wanted a login method that requires only the username. So instead of entering a password, the user will receive a notification on their mobile device, which they can use to verify their identity and then access online banking. This was kind of a very different requirement, and there were various risks involved in this, but the type of customers we have in UAE, we wanted to make their login journey as simple as possible, at the other hand safe as well, and getting rid of a password field from the login form would really help them. So that was the thought. So basically we were looking for a simple, convenient and safe internet banking login journey. See, we were not redesigning or re-engineering the entire online banking access mechanism, as there were various other systems and applications serving the online banking. So we really had to deal with this problem in a different way. Naturally, there were many challenges on our way, like designing this solution with a simple and user-friendly interface, a robust security mechanism that verifies users' identity, and as mentioned before, there are other systems serving online banking experience. So we needed a flexible architecture that allows integration with those existing systems or platforms or applications, plus meeting the tight deadlines. So this way we had to deal with a lot of such things to come up with the simplicity, as you can see the conceptual prototype in this slide. To fulfill this, we evaluated various options, like Gravitee Access Management Platform has inbuilt multi-factor authentication feature, but the default feature requires customer to enter both username and password, which was not acceptable for our business. Then we also evaluated an option to customize the login flow, which is there in access management, uh, or even we tried configuring the external identity provider. But every option had different challenges, and they were quite time consuming. Uh, Also, they were not fully meeting our requirements. So we thought to discuss this challenge with Gravitee team, and having discussed this with them, we discovered there is a readily available feature in access management called CIBA. Uh, and we started evaluating it. CIBA stands for Client Initiated Backchannel Authentication that enables a client to request user authentication and authorization without requiring user interaction at the client application. Meaning, when user starts the authentication journey on the web browser, he will not have to enter the next level of challenge on the browser. Instead, user is authenticated and authorized by a separate device or an application such as Bank app on the mobile phone. This can provide a better user experience and security. So for the scenarios that we were looking for, this seems to be quite reasonable. CIBA reduces the friction and complexity of the user journey. It leverages the existing capabilities and trust of the user's device and existing banking application, which offer stronger authentication factors and consent mechanism. This was certainly one of the best options. The difficulty was we never used it before. So we wanted to prove before we proposed this option. And believe me, proving this was super easy. That I will show you in the next slide. The next slide is the actual access management console, wherein I have already logged in the admin console, and I will start, showing this right from creating a new security domain. So let's start from creating a new security domain. So let me create the one. So once the domain is created, it remains in a disabled state. So let me just enable it. And let's go to the setting. Here there will be an option called CIBA. Yeah, here we go. So I'm enabling it. So as soon as we enable it, we get another option here about device notifiers. So whenever we call a CIBA authenticate endpoint, the authenticate endpoint will call this device notifier, which is going to be external service, and that service is responsible to send the notification on the user's mobile. So let me add some service here. So I have already created one service endpoint, so let me put that here, and yeah, that is created now. Now let me go to the applications and create one. Yeah, the application is now created. So let me try generating the token here. Okay, so before that, let us just change one thing here in the application settings. We'll go to OAuth OIDC and enable the CIBA flow here. So let's save it. Okay, so let's prove the CIBA authenticate in Postman. So the first thing is the CIBA authenticate endpoint is called by the consumer. the backend systems of the consumer. And the CIBA authenticate uh, request, as I mentioned before, it will in turn call the device notifier. Okay, so in background, it has called the device notifier and it has returned us this particular auth request ID. So we will use this auth request ID to get the access token in later part of this demo. Okay, now user has accepted the mobile notification. The mobile backend will then call CIBA authenticate callback, confirming that the notification has been accepted. I have already populated TID and state from my dummy notifier service. So let me send it. Yeah, it has just, send this 200 response back. And next thing is I will use the auth request ID to get the access token. So this is generic auth token endpoint. And there we go. We got the access token. Next, I will show you how we use this POC to fulfill the business requirement. To recap, there are only three endpoints involved here, which is CIBA authenticate, CIBA authenticate callback, and the usual auth token to get the access token. As you could see, it wasn't too difficult to prove the flow with CIBA. So we really found it best fit for our need. It was then just matter of putting things together, like designing front end and back end journeys. Our internet banking team in FAB did a great job here. As an identity provider platform, we communicated them that which access management gateway endpoint is to be called in which chronology, and the request parameters and so on. And together we designed a solution that could satisfy our business needs, right from a user-friendly interface, a secure way of authentication, and a flexible architecture that allows integration with the existing systems and platforms. Last but not the least, fast implementation and rollout. In order to provide a simple and secure authentication experience from the web browser and keeping in mind the safety, we require a registration through the mobile device first. This allows us to bind users' profile and preferences with the mobile device. After completing the registration process through the mobile device, user can choose to log in either through the mobile app or the web browser. As I have been mentioning here, CIBA is integrated to simplify web browser login journey. On the next slide, I will show you how simple and easy our login page is, followed by the high-level design. After they complete the registration process successfully, customers who want to access their internet banking using their browser, they will see a simple login page that only asks for their username and a submit button. They do not enter their password or any other information on this page. When they click on the button, they will see a message on the follow-up screen to respond to the notification sent on their mobile device. As mentioned previously, user will see a similar message on the web browser on submitting the login form, and a user is instructed to respond to the notification sent on the mobile device. So this is just a sample message to indicate you how the intermediate page will look like. So that is the simplicity for the login journey we could achieve with the help of CIBA integration. Next, I will show you what the high level design is behind it. I'm keeping this high level design as simple as possible so as to focus on the topic, which is the main idea of how to create a simple and a user-friendly login journey to access internet banking for our customers using CIBA. I will not go into the technical details of the different systems and tools that are needed for a complete solution, such as databases, servers, encryption, and so on. I will give you an overview of the key APIs in the access management and how they work together to achieve our objectives. So at the high level, there are four systems involved: a user, and obviously the devices, the browser and the mobile, portal backend, IDP platform, which is backed by Gravitee, and the mobile notifier service. On submitting the login form from the browser, it calls a login API on a portal backend. Portal backend in turn calls CIBA authenticate endpoint of IDP, that is on the Gravitee, with username as a login hint. Gravitee has internal logic to verify the username. On receiving the CIBA authenticate request, Gravitee triggers notify endpoint on the external notifier service which was configured. This external notifier service is responsible to check device binding and other security checks, then sending a notification on the mobile device. As per the CIBA spec, external notifier service has to respond back to Gravitee with the TID and the state it has received in the request from Gravitee to indicate that the mobile notification has been sent. Gravitee then respond back to the portal backend with auth request ID if everything is fine. Portal backend sends back this auth request ID in response to the login API request. I will explain you how this auth request ID is used in a bit. When browser is waiting for user to acknowledge the notification on mobile device, it calls this token API on the portal backend at a reasonable interval. So with this API, it sends this auth request ID. Okay, and then portal backend in turn calls us that OAuth token endpoint on the Gravitee. However, as user has not yet acknowledged the mobile notification yet, Gravitee will not return the access token, and obviously the browser will also not receive the access token. So this time when user confirms the notification on mobile, request goes to portal backend. The portal backend, on receiving the acknowledgement, it calls the authenticate callback endpoint on Gravitee with the TID and state in the request, as I showed in the Postman before. As browser is still pulling the token API, this time portal backend will receive access token from the OAuth token endpoint request, and it will send that access token back to the browser. Looking at it all together, this is the overview of high-level design, where you can see the number of APIs playing role into the overall solution and how simple it is to integrate CIBA to deliver this business requirement. As you can see from the browser, there are only two calls made to the portal backend, login and token. While from portal backend to IDP, there are three calls involved, which were demonstrated in the Postman. Those are CIBA authenticate, CIBA authenticate callback, and OAuth token to get the access token. While IDP is responsible to check the user when CIBA authenticate endpoint is called with login hint param, that is nothing but the user ID. IDP is also responsible to call the external notifier endpoint and returning the appropriate auth request ID. Portal backend, after receiving the mobile notification, calls CIBA authenticate callback on IDP with the TID and state parameter. And subsequently, when OAuth token endpoint is called on IDP, it will return the access token for the user. This way, keeping the login UI at its simplicity, we designed equally simple authentication flow by integrating CIBA. As I mentioned at the beginning of this talk, that there were various challenges to get rid of the password field, and I am happy that we have successfully overcome them. Like using the existing platforms that are dealing with mobile notifications, as well as device binding and security. Example of those existing platforms are like portal backends, notification services, etc. We literally delivered the solution in days rather than weeks or months with the other options had we gone for it. Next, I will show you the other benefits we are getting out of the Gravitee as our identity provider platform. I have informed in the introduction slide that we, the IDP platform, are supporting various integration scenarios within the Bank FAB to integrate other systems with IDP, and API to API communications is one of them. With Gravitee Access Management, there is a significant security enhancement in the internal API architecture within banking channels that utilize APIs. This is also helping us moving towards the zero trust concept. So all API communications will need to acquire tokens from IDP, that is Gravitee, before making calls to other APIs. This won't allow any unauthenticated API calls within the network and enhance overall API security of the bank, on which critical channels of the bank are operating. Now let us have a look at the banking dashboard after a browser receives the access token. On receiving access token, browser calls various APIs to display the dashboard page. This way, we could deliver a happy customer experience, keeping the login journey easy and safe with the simplicity of Gravitee platform. And not just that, we could deliver the solution within timeline. Thank you very much for your attention and participation. I hope you enjoyed the topic. If you have any questions, I would be more than happy to answer them. Thank you again.